What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hiddenheightsfarm. I'm Kevin, this is Kaya, and my son Caleb. And today we're going to put out some hay. So if you've seen the last video, we put out the straw and for the bedding, and that's going to keep the goats good and warm and dry this winter. But with that also comes, we got to put out some hay. So we got this nice new hay feeder that we're going to try out this year. We had this custom made, the height and all this. Hopefully this will eliminate some of the waste. But we're going to get this one put in the barn. We already have a similar type of a hay cradle over on the pygmy pen. This one is going in our barn with the Spanish and Kiko goats. So we're going to use the tractor, get this thing put in there, and we're going to go get a couple round bales of hay, and we'll talk about what type of hay we use and all that good stuff. So if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and watch all our future videos of these goats and a lot of our past videos. If you guys raise goats, we got tons and tons of videos on our goats. So we're going to get started. We're going to try to get this thing moved into the barn with the tractor and get it placed where we want it and make sure we can load the hay in it and all that. And then we'll go grab a bale of hay and see if this thing will fit in there. Alright guys, so real quick, while I got this thing in the air, so I got this thing custom ordered, and the reason we did it is to try to preserve the hay, because you know if you just put a round bale on the ground, the hays will climb, or the goats will climb on the hay, crap and pee all over it and waste it. And this will cut down on that, hopefully. And another thing about it is, it's strong, yet it's light enough to move around with the tractor, and we can kind of push it around. It's on these skids as well. And I went another step, and I took a primer paint and I put about 4 coats of paint all on this thing, and even a lot more on the bottom that's going to be setting in the muck and the goat poop and all that. So hopefully this thing will last a long time. It's going to be in the barn for now. I think we're going to try to put it in there and see how it works out. So it's going to be out of the weather and elements anyways. The only thing that could get potentially rotten or rust is the bottom skids there. So I'm going to get this thing in the barn, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so we got the hay cradle in the barn, and I'm not sure if we're going to have a problem with these rafters or not kind of being in the way. Let me back up and show you guys what I'm talking about. So I got to lift up the bale and stick it in here. I think I got enough clearance. We're going to go grab a bale and see how it works out. I kind of want the hay cradle to be right here, closer to this gate on the back side. This is a higher part of the barn. So I got a higher door right here. If I need to bring the hay through here, I still can. And plus, you're going to get a lot of waste and stuff right here, and it's going to compost down. And what we like to do, the way we designed this barn is, you see we got a door there and a door here, is we can put the bucket on the tractor, and then we can just come down through here and load up all the composted hay and goat poop and collect that and put it in the garden. Now that we got the dump truck, it makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to go grab a bale of hay and then see if we can't get this bad boy loaded up. Alright, so we just removed the grapple from the front end loader of the tractor, and we got our 3-point hay steer put on the front here, and we're going to try to pick up this bale and put it in the barn. so you seen that didn't work, so now we're going to plan B. Alright guys, so it looked like plan B worked. I got the bell to where it will fit into the cradle and not hit the rafters or anything in here in the barn. But this is I know it's dark in here, bear with me. This is a net wrapped hay bell. And this stuff right here is a goat's nightmare. They get their legs, horns, everything tangled up in this. And it can kill them, it can choke them and get wrapped around their neck. So if you guys do get any kind of round bells, do your best to try to keep this under control. What I'm going to do is take my pocket knife and I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to take it all off of here and throw it in the burn pile or throw it in the trash can. Because this stuff will kill goats, especially baby goats. They get their little legs trapped in this stuff. And this is great. This is great for hay. It serves its purpose. But what this does is, this keeps the hay bales good and tight. It wraps it, you know, so it keeps it good and tight all the way around. It's not waterproof. It don't waterproof the hay by no means. What it does is it keeps all these wraps of hay so tight that the water just kind of rolls off the side because this hay's in a circular shape, and it just keeps the water from kind of just setting on top of the hay bale and saturating the hay bale. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this off and dispose of it. Alright guys, so there it is. This is all the netting that was on that hay bale. So you can imagine how much of a nightmare this is once this hay starts getting eaten and it just gets all entangled in all the hay and it gets all unraveled. And by the time you know it, it's laying all across your barn or on the ground, and the goats will always get tangled up. And I'm sure horses and cows do as well. So the best thing to do is take this and either burn it or just dispose of it to where no animals at all can get hung up in it. Alright guys, so here it is. Now we don't have to worry about the goats starving on these cold winter nights. I know it's dark in here, I apologize. So we'll see if this hay cradle saves any of the hay for us. And you're not always going to save 100% of your hay. They are going to waste some. But hopefully this will kind of keep them from getting on top of it and urinating and all that stuff on it and ruining it for everybody else. I guess the word's out. Here comes everybody running in. Let's see what the Kikos think of this. I don't even notice it. Guys, you not even see the big hay bale right there? I guess y'all aren't starving to death or you'd be eating it already. Alright, well that's a good sign. Maybe they don't need it just yet, but it's there if they do. They do. Alright, so it looks like they're finally starting to take to this hay a little more. Oh, one sock there, she's going to town on it. So what they do is they rip it out and then they just drop it on the ground a lot of times. But hopefully this feeder, this hay cradle here, will kind of help us out on the waste. That's the whole idea of it anyway. all this. All right, so we got our second bale put out. This one is in our pygmy pen. And this is a little different type of hay cradle. I don't like this one as well, but it does keep it elevated. And although it does not do a 100% good job of keeping them off the top of it, here in a little while, in a week or two, they'll eat this down a little bit and they'll figure out a way to jump up there. They do every time. And it still kind of helps us out a lot as far as keeping it off the ground, and it does help to keep down the waste, but not 100% like I said. But man, Jerkface Jr., he's been going to town on this mineral box. Look at that. Just put that thing out here like an hour or two ago and he's still going after it. And there's old Ghostface. Alright guys, so like I said before, this hay here we buy off one of our friends here, and this bale just right down the road from us, so I don't have to go far to get it. And these aren't the bigger bales, this is a 4x5. So my tractor is a 35 horse Kubota, and it's a pretty good job picking this up when it's wet. It's a little lighter as it dries like it is now. But one good thing about this is it has a lot of lespedeza, Cereza lespedeza in it, which is it's a weed that a lot of people don't like in their pastures and stuff, especially for cattle. But for goats, it's a goat's best friend, actually a goat farmer's best friend, because it has something in it that makes it like a natural dewormer for these goats. And they actually like it because it's a broadleaf weed, so they love eating on it. And this has a lot in it. This is a first cut of this year, so it had a good amount of the Cereza lespedeza in it. We had a lot of rain this year, so everything was really plentiful as far as benefits for what we want in this hay for the goats. It's not really high protein, but that's okay because we supplement with a feed anyways. But this bale here should last, and as well as the bale over there, should last us a month or so. And that helps out a lot, because if for some reason we can't get out and feed that day or whatever, they always have this hay. They're not ever going to starve to death. They might not get as much protein just from a bale of hay, but they're always going to be able to come over here and have something to eat to fill their bellies, so they're not going to starve and be cold during the winter. Because, you know, if you don't eat and you're outside all the time, you're going to freeze. So I just want to talk a little bit about that. These hay feeders do work well. The number one thing that I like about these hay feeders is, even though they don't save 100% of the waste of the hay, is these right here protect your goats. And I'll tell you why. So if you just set a hay bale on the ground, as you can see, most of them like to eat from the middle first. This is where all the good hay is, because it's not on the outside where it's got wet is the only reason. So they like eating from the middle first. Well, what happens when they eat from the middle and this thing's laying on the ground? It will collapse. And we've actually had some goats eat all the middle out, and the little babies lay under there all the time to try to stay warm. And these hay bales will collapse because the core's all eaten out of them, and it can suffocate your goats. So just keep that in mind. One other thing you can do is, we've done it in the past, is you take your hay bale, put a cattle pedal around it. That way the goats can't get like right up against it and in it, and that'll kind of help it from leaning over. And if you do have a hay bale that you're just setting on the ground and nothing around it or anything, and you see the middle's eaten out of it, go ahead and just push it over when they've got all the middle eaten out of it. That way you don't have to worry about it falling on any of your goats. So guys, like I said earlier, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let us know how you guys feed your goats to hay. We usually buy some alfalfa as well in the wintertime, just to feed them a flake or two of alfalfa about every day, just to get them that extra protein. But guys, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.